Hello everybody, welcome back to my mini-series about breathing. We are still in chapter 1 of the foundations, but third episode already. Today I want to talk about the breathing muscles. There is a whole bunch of muscles involved in the breathing mechanics. Last time I already spoke about the neck muscles for mostly a different reason, but some of those muscles that come up into the neck, they obviously also go across the top of the shoulders and down the spine and connecting to the thorax and all of that breathing cavity. So that area for sure is involved. But all around the upper thorax as well as the abdomen, there is quite a few groups of muscles involved in the mechanism of breathing. So when we are looking at developing a breathing practice and doing breathing exercises in order to improve our breathing, we, in my mind, also need to look at the potential tensions and holding patterns that we carry around in all of those muscles, as that tension might prevent us from a full expression, I would say, of our breathing. So our main breathing muscle, as quite commonly known, is of course the diaphragm. That's that big dome-shaped muscle that sits at the base of the rib cage, and that moves automatically without us having to do anything about it all day long, every day of our life, from the first to the very last breath. And as it contracts, it kind of sort of flattens out in a way a little bit, moves down, drawing the air into the lungs, creating a form of suction effect. And then on the exhale, that releases again. There is this emptying out effect of that. There's quite a lot to say about the diaphragm, so I actually want to do a whole separate episode on the diaphragm, as it also forms part or an integral part of our diaphragmatic pressure system inside the body. So it actually plays together with a bunch of other kind of diaphragmatic-like membranes that we have through the body that regulate the pressure, literally, in our body, and that's quite relevant for a whole bunch of other things. So you can see I'm saying, and there is more, and there's more, and there's more, and there's more. So there has to be a separate episode on that. But there is a whole bunch of other muscles, and they're all involved in that. We've got our intercostals, we've got our trapezius here at the top, deeper muscles in the neck, there's muscles attaching down to the collarbone here. We've got the pectoralis at the front. We've got, again, deeper muscles across the inside of the scapula. And then further down also the abdominals, that when we are breathing more actively and deeply, they get involved too. And those muscles very typically hold habitual patterns. And they're also very prone to anxiety, tension. That can come from our modern lifestyle habits, bad posture, lack of movement, the fact that we have to all day long do a lot of stabilizing through the upper body, with our arms and all of the arms activities being out in front of us. So there's quite a lot of weight that we carry all day long, and there's, our thorax is constantly having to stabilize that. So naturally that develops a bunch of patterns. A lot of us carry our stress across the whole shoulder area. A lot of us have to sit in front of the computer all day long, and there is a kind of forward contraction, or the reverse. Some of us are kind of just told way too much that we that we have to sit straight and up, but actually what that does, it sort of pushes things down on the lungs. So there's naturally over our lifetime a whole bunch of patterns building up, and all of that might actually prevent us from the kind of expression of the full capacity of the breath, all the way down to it actually really being quite restricted. As a body worker, it's really quite fascinating. I work sometimes, and it's more often women, but they're kind of sort of almost overtrained in this area, and it sort of almost feels like, you know, they have built up this armor around them. But when I try to create some movement around the upper thorax, it literally hardly moves, and I always wonder how they can even breathe. So you can see how there can be really some unhelpful patterns that we carry around there. So as part of a regular breathing practice, in my mind, my take on it is that we have to, you know, sort of limber this up a little bit and open it up, and maybe disturb some of those patterns, some of those habits. Anything habitual means that we don't really notice it anymore, and it just needs disturbing from time to time, a good dusting effectively. So whenever I do a breathing practice, let's say it was for 30 minutes, as I do 3 times a week with a group of people, you know, the first half of that is all preparation, and a good chunk of that preparation would be to get some movement going, you know, like big movement here, getting everything to slide and move. So I would try to, you know, create quite a lot of circular movement. We would definitely always do a twist, and that kind of gets the diaphragm moving as well. Would also do some form of lengthening through the side body, or a side bend, to get, say, not very technical term, but to get all of these ribs to unstick a little bit and create some physical space there. And it's quite nice because with those, and they're super simple exercises ultimately, really, but you can immediately feel a difference when you observe the natural expansion and retraction with every breath, and how that becomes bit by bit just that little bit more available. Will feel a little bit less heavy, a little bit freer, a little bit more open. And in that way, we can at the same time also, you know, kind of sort of wake up the breath immediately as a side effect almost of that. And so it makes for a really nice preparation to our breathing practices. So that's my kind of approach to it, as part of, you know, doing exercises to work with the breath, to improve our breathing, to encourage a more diaphragmatic, natural breathing. Ultimately, we're going to have to look at some of the other muscles involved in the actual mechanism. And so, yeah, some nice exercises that I like doing there. And, you know, you can make them up, literally. For some ideas, come along to the breathing. We meet every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday morning for 30 minutes. It's online. If you join the membership, there are even recordings. There's an archive of, I think by now it's about 100 recordings already, lots of different breathing exercises. I'll post the link below if that's of interest. Plus, if you're catching this later on my YouTube channel, I actually have a whole other playlist, a separate breathing playlist. So that might be worth checking out, as I'm sharing a bunch of exercises and breathing exercises there already, and my view on things generally. So check it out. Hopefully this is still interesting. I asked already a couple of times if you guys have any specific questions about breathing, the why, the what's, the would that be helpful, what do I do if, any of that you would like me to talk about. Comment, send me a message, get in touch with me. I sort of got a plan of the chapters and episodes of this series, but there is nothing stopping me from adding here and there. I'm already actually coming up with more ideas than what I originally said anyway, so I'll probably be a little bit longer, going on for a bit longer. We are moving on to the next chapter next time, probably, yes, and look at, it's called vitality. So one of the aspects that I really find from, the why of breathing exercises, I think it really fosters vitality in the body on a physical level as well as mentally. So I want to talk a little bit more about that, moving on from the foundations. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to share this up, let people know about it you think might be interested. And as I mentioned, please do comment, ask questions. That is all very welcome. And I'd love to shape this series along the lines of what you are actually interested in. So go ahead and comment. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again on Wednesday. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.